The fate of the three men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery expected to be in the hands of the jury tomorrow.
Now, both the prosecution and the defense giving closing arguments today. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for First Coast News at 5. I'm Heather Crawford.
And I'm Anthony Austin. We do have team coverage for you on this Monday, live from Brunswick, with what happened both inside and outside the courtroom.
And first, we want to begin tonight with On Your Side's Keitha Nelson, who is field anchoring our coverage live outside the courthouse tonight. Keitha?
Katie, Anthony, I want to give you new information that just came in. The state at this point will give their rebuttal tomorrow. Initially, we thought that was going to happen tonight, but again, that is set to happen tomorrow. They just got back into the courtroom. We just heard the judge announce that. Again, the state is planning to give their rebuttal tomorrow. That's set to start at 8:30. We'll also see the court charge the jury tomorrow, which means they'll give them the jury instructions, and deliberations are expected to begin tomorrow as well. So let me give you a quick idea of what's going on right now, just over my shoulder, outside of the Glynn County Courthouse. Most of the demonstrators have left for the day. What you're seeing right now behind me, mainly media in front of the Glynn County Courthouse. Obviously, this has gained national attention, something that a lot of people are keeping a close eye on. Let's take you inside of the courtroom now with three things that you'll need to know what has happened so far today in this murder trial. Three men accused of murder in the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. So we have heard closing arguments from the state and defense attorneys on all three defendants. Again, we have just learned that the state tomorrow will give their rebuttal starting at 8:30 in the morning. So today, Bryan's attorney, Kevin Goff, he requested a mistrial for the 7th time. This time he brought attention to the demonstrators outside of the courthouse who had rifles in hand and a coffin being wheeled around, saying it was threatening. The judge denied Goff's request. Defense attorney Laura Hogue raised concern about a juror who she said was nodding off during her closing arguments. That's juror number 12. Juror number 12's attention span has been brought up as a concern before during this trial. The judge said he would keep a close eye on her. We want to check in now with On Your Side's Kaylee Tracy, who has spent most of the day inside of the courthouse. She has a closer look at things, what has happened throughout the day, and the big takeaways. Kaylee.
Okay, Keitha, a lot of the arguments from both the state and the defense centered around what the defendants did the day of the shooting and what Ahmaud Arbery did the day of the shooting. From the prosecution, they repeated a line from their opening statements that the defendants made driveway decisions the day of the shooting and assumed the worst about Arbery, leading to his death. The prosecutor also said that their argument of self-defense, that's the defense's argument about that, was not justified because the defendants provoked Arbery. Defense attorney Jason Sheffield countered Travis McMichael was scared, and he said Travis McMichael did what he did because he felt a sense of duty to his family and to his community. He also brought up Travis's time in the Coast Guard, saying he helped people in need and asked the jurors to help him now.
What did Mr. Arbery do? He ran away for 5 minutes. He ran away from them. Ran away from them for 5 minutes. That's what he did. With his hands out at his sides, in those baggy shorts he had on. No weapon, no threats, no way to call for help, didn't even have a cell phone on him. Ran away from him for 5 minutes.
Will you do as he has done in the past to others? Will you reach out your hand and extend it to Travis McMichael and pull him out of those waters? I think if you've heard anything that I've said, there's only one decision. He is not guilty on all charges.
The jurors were seen paying close attention to both sides as they gave their closing arguments today. We also saw some look into the gallery. That is, of course, where both Ahmaud Arbery's family members and the defendant's family members are. They also looked at the defendants at times. We're hearing that from the reporters inside the courtroom, those pool reporters. Back to you, Keitha.
Thanks for that, Kaylee. You know, this trial has no doubt been extremely difficult for all parties involved, but I want to bring your attention to Wanda Cooper Jones. That's Ahmaud Arbery's mother. Today in court, she was seen crying. At a point, we saw her rush out of the courtroom saying that she didn't want to hear what was going on. Now, this happened shortly after a comment was made by Gregory McMichael's attorney, Laura Hogue. Take a listen.
Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
A lot of you online are calling those comments distasteful about Ahmaud Arbery's toenails, the comments you just heard there. But I do want to talk about what's going on within this community. You know, a lot of this attention we're seeing nationally has pretty much put a heavy toll on a lot of people who live here and call Glenn County home. For more on that, we're going to check in now with On Your Side's Megan Rivers. She's been talking with people in this community about the trial thus far and closing arguments which are underway today.
Good evening. We're live in downtown Brunswick tonight. We've been venturing all around this Brunswick community today, talking with folks about how they feel hearing some of those closing arguments that took place earlier today from the prosecution and those defense attorneys. And the mood hasn't changed much from what we heard from people on Sunday. They're exasperated with this trial. They're exasperated with the attention that it's brought to their small community. And they're also hoping that they can recover from this racial divide that some say that is caused. Now, I spoke with a number of people today who say that the community wasn't as divided as it once was before and as it is now, and it hasn't brought out the best in some people. Della Branson says she's lived in this area her whole life and has always lived in a very blended community. She says she's hoping this trial will lead to a conviction and a lesson learned for any other potential community vigilantes.
They deserve to go to jail for the rest of their lives. You can't do that to another human being. I guess the best way to get past it is not assume because I'm white that I agree with them, or not assume because someone's black that they don't see it in a different way. Just ask each other how you see it.
Well, coming up tonight at 6, we also spoke with a 73-year-old man who talks about his childhood living through segregation in this very Brunswick community and his charge to the community going forward. We also spoke with another gentleman on his take about what's happening and what he hopes to see going forward. Reporting live in downtown Brunswick, First Coast News On Your Side. I'm Megan Rivers. I'll send things back to you.
Thanks for that, Megan. And right now inside of the courtroom, the judge is going over a few things with both the state and the defense. They do plan on breaking for the evening, and then court will resume in the morning at 8:30 when we are expecting to hear from the state. They are set to begin their rebuttal. This is after we again have heard from the defense today as well as the state. They all gave their closing arguments earlier today, and again tomorrow morning starting at 8:30 we will be hearing from the state their rebuttal on those arguments. So we're going to bring all of it to you, of course, live both on air and online. And we do want to mention we were told by the judge that they'll charge the jury tomorrow as well. That is giving them the jury instructions, so deliberations could also begin tomorrow. But again, we'll keep you updated on all of that. For now, live in Brunswick, I'm Keitha Nelson, First Coast News On Your Side.